Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rants YouTube channel. Let's talk NXT now. I do like to talk non-title events, feuds, stuff that happened. Well, kicking off the show, Miles Bone, Lexis King, once again, possibly the culmination, I don't know. But they had a lights out match, obviously referencing, Miles Bone being blind, and, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this was promoting the fact that he has senses. I don't know, but Miles Bone won the match. It was a pretty decent match. I mean, there was spots on the stairs, and it ended with a zigzag through the table, and it was a great match. The only thing I took from this match, really, that really made me think was, like, we are so desensitized to certain wrestling moves and certain things now. Like, when I think back to 10 years ago when Triple H and Brock Lesnar were fighting with the steel steps, or Cena and Lesnar were fighting and Cena hit Brock with an AA on the steel steps, getting put on the steel steps used to mean something. Miles Bone and Lexis King got right up. And then, not only that, going through a table used to mean you couldn't move. Yet, I know he only rolled on the cover, but Miles Bone straight away was putting a cover on Lexis King as if they both didn't go through the table. It's crazy. But yes, Miles Bone got the win, as he should. Lexis King is a great wrestler for putting people over, and one day he deserves to be put over himself. But Miles Bone is what they're trying to build, and this is a great way to build him. Jordan Grace, going on a rampage the last few weeks over Blake Monroe. She ran into Ariana Grace, who a couple weeks ago tried to side with Blake Monroe, and say, she's the better Grace and she's not associated with Jordan Grace. Jordan Grace kind of called her out on it and beat her up in a match and decimated her, which is pretty fair. It's fair enough. We had Josh Briggs, deliver a promo package. As we know, we're getting that match at No Mercy, or it has happened already, but I've not watched No Mercy yet. And, yeah, I mean, we're just ready for those two to face off, really. There's nothing really much to break down from it, but it was just Josh Briggs calling out the fans for being hypocrites, really. And that's all it was. We had, what I thought was a bit of a sponsor, but it really wasn't. The F1 drivers, or some NASCAR drivers, got no clue, showed up, had a bit of a segment with Chase U, spoke about Joe Hendry. Doc State showed up, obviously been having problems with Joe Hendry showing up, saying don't mention his name. Joe Hendry was actually under a racer's helmet the whole time. Led to a 6-man tag with Joe Hendry teaming up against Chase U against Doc State getting the win. Not surprised. Chase U are basically jobbers at this point, and Joe Hendry has been in a tag team match against Doc State countless times. I mean, we're talking with Trick Williams and Oba Femi, we're talking with Hank and Tank, and now we're talking with Chase U. Like, it's, come on, let's just have Joe Hendry 4-on-1 against Doc State. Let's just do it at this point, because I'm tired of this bullshit. I'm tired of it. Anyways, we had the final of the Women's Speed Tournament. It was Lainey Reed and Candice LeRae. The winner will face Soul Ruger at No Mercy. And obviously WWE had already spat on everyone else's face. Candice LeRae beat a TNA wrestler. Lainey Reed beat a AAA wrestler. It was between SmackDown and NXT. NXT got the win. Lainey Reed, Soul Ruger, No Mercy. It's happening. And, yeah, I mean, what else did you expect except an NXT wrestler? And, I mean, this is their way of putting Lainey Reed over, because, not putting her over, but putting her in the spotlight and using her, because they've had her PR here and there, call out big names like JC Jane and Soul Ruger, and she's gone nowhere. So I'm glad they're actually doing something. Jada Parker had a bit of a video package saying she's not done with Lash Legend, and even though she lost Lash Legend, she's going to let it slide because she got one up on her after beating her up after the match. So we're going to see more Jada Parker and more Lash Legend, which is good, because they are both good and both deserve to be in the main event division. But while they're not, they don't deserve to be rotting, so let's keep using them. Ethan Page came out, obviously to talk his mind and be the same egotistical guy he always is. And we saw Dr. Wagner Jr. in the crowd, like we have done in previous weeks. Obviously, Dr. Wagner Jr. retained his title in AAA at Worlds Collide in a match that Ethan Page was in, but he was still mouthing off to him. And then he challenged Dr. Wagner Jr. to come in the ring and fight him in a match one-on-one right now. And that's when Dr. Wagner Jr. came in there, put him in an ankle lock and tapped him out in about 5 seconds. And it was later revealed that under the mask was Tavion Heights. We know they are having a match at No Mercy. And this just puts more hype behind Tavion Heights because he's just proven he can beat Ethan Page, and he did it with ease. I'm not sure how clever of a move this could be because they could have just buried Ethan Page right there, but maybe it's good build-up for the match. And maybe it might put some heat and some hype behind Tavion for the match and make it more of a shocking and disappointing moment when Ethan Page does win. So that's kind of cool. As for the NXT Women's Champion, Jacy Jayne, she had a great promo off with Lola Vice. And this is what I've been needing because Jacy Jayne's been feuding with all the other women while Lola Vice has just been doing video packages. And I thought if they're fighting in No Mercy, why aren't they feuding? So they had a nice promo battle, which was good. And I think it proved, Jacy Jayne is the better promo artist. So it did prove why she's in the position that she's in. But Lola Vice is so talented in the ring, man. And I think it's her time, personally. I think it's her time. And speaking of fatal influence, despite all the shots that was mentioned about being toxic and all that, Jasmine Nix was attacked backstage and Fallon Henley and Jacy Jayne didn't care. They said it's about time that the weak links get shedded. And that seems crazy to me. And for some reason I have a bad feeling that this is WWE not only writing Jasmine Nix off TV, but writing her off WWE, which would be an utter shame. But I feel like it's the reality of the situation. And finally, the last thing to talk about is Obafemi Trick Williams. This was the main event. The winner leaves both titles online. Winner leaves NXT and TNA World Champion. Obviously, it's a massive spit in the face. WWE having their WWE superstars take the TNA World title, not drop it to any TNA wrestler, but then drop it to another WWE superstar. So this match couldn't have an end. And throughout the night, we've seen TNA wrestlers appearing in the background. We've seen TNA wrestlers appearing in matches. And it seemed like they were there to invade. And invade they did because they were all eyes on the prize for Obafemi and Trick Williams. Even Matt Cardona came in. Zack Ryder in WWE once again. It was exciting shit. And then midway through the match when Mike Santana and... I'm saying that right, Anna. Mike Santana and Trick Williams started brawling. All the TNA superstars came out. NXT came out to defend them. And it was a great moment, a great big battle that it ended in. And Ricky Saints did try to creep his way around and grab a hold of the NXT title before he was stopped by Obafemi. So, what do I learn from this? A big WWE versus TNA war. Now, War Games has been getting stale. Over the last recent years, we've been forcing feuds to happen. While it's not been the worst thing, War Games is a good match regardless. It's getting stale and repetitive. What would you say if I said War Games, given that William Regal said it last week, might come back to NXT or might just involve NXT? Maybe it's Survivor Series, we get Raw versus SmackDown and the War Games match is NXT versus TNA. Or maybe NXT get their own version of War Games and so also do the main roster. I don't know, but I kind of wouldn't like it because then we'd get way too used to it and way too desensitized to it. I feel like War Games needs to be something special that's pulled out every couple of years. I feel like Survivor Series, Raw vs SmackDown is something we can run yearly. Whereas War Games, it needs a special feel. You know, it needs to not be predictable, which it currently is. But NXT versus TNA, it's exciting. It is still a bit of an insult to say TNA can only compete with NXT and not Raw and SmackDown, but I get it. They don't want to turn their current product into versus TNA. They want to keep it as WWE, but I feel like TNA deserve a main roster feud, but that's just me. Anyways, I know No Mercy's already happened, but I'm excited to watch it regardless. I've not watched it. I did make a predictions video, so I'm going to watch it and I'm going to see how right I am. Hopefully Lola Vice has won that title. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.